Ethiopians go to the polls this weekend for the first time since a government victory in 2005, a victory that was disputed by the opposition. More than 200 street protesters were killed by security forces and all the main opposition leaders imprisoned and charged with terrorism. The election is being watched closely by U.S. government officials such as Johnny Carson, Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, who calls for a free and fair election.
We are encouraging the government of Ethiopia, as well as the opposition parties, to act responsibly during the election campaign and during the election itself. We do not want to see a repetition of the violence that followed the flawed elections of 2005, in which the opposition felt that it had not been treated fairly, protested after the elections, and a number of opposition leaders were killed in the streets of Addis Ababa.
Concerned Ethiopians say they doubt that the polls will be free or fair, and they say that they fear that the violence will erupt again. Washington, D.C. area resident Alimanu Abebi says the election campaigns in Ethiopia have been dominated by intimidation and harassment by police and other security agencies.
No, there is no independent election boards. The ruling party, they use all necessary means to stop the opposition parties, and they can put you in jail.
Another DC resident says that Ethiopia's election should be free and fair.
I live here in the United States of America for a long time, which is I enjoy their freedom. And then I hope that our people will get that freedom one day. And I hope this government in power right now will treat the opposition party fairly, stop intimidation so that we will have some members go to the parliament and will fight further for the people of Ethiopia.
One of the leading opposition leaders is Merera Gidina, who campaigned in the Oromia region, south of Addis Ababa. The region is home to Ethiopia's largest ethnic group, which makes up 27 million of the 80 million people. The opposition says their candidates and voters are harassed and intimidated. The government says the opposition plans to incite violence and discredit the poll because it has no chance of winning.
Well, the police, the security, the local administrators, they're all going around telling people that the forum or the Oromo People's Congress is not peaceful and all kinds of things. They are intimidating people.
New York-based Human Rights Watch says Ethiopia's government has arrested and imprisoned opposition politicians since 2005 vote. However, the National Election Board says measures are in place to make sure all parties follow strict guidelines.
Almost all political parties, more than 65 political parties, have agreed on a code of conduct so as to make the upcoming election free, fair, democratic, peaceful, and credible.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi, who is running for re-election, was hailed by the West in the 90s as one of a new generation of democratic African leaders. But human rights groups criticize him for now cracking down on the opposition and independent media. Paul Ndiho, VOA News.